Hello, I'm Jerry Linter, and this is State of the Town, a monthly show when we sit with our first selectman, once again first selectman, Lisa Heavner, and get brought up to date on the state of the town. Did I hear you were swearing last night?
No, I was not swearing, but I was being sworn in with 38 newly elected officials.
38?
38. How about that?
Wow. And all those others are volunteers, right?
Yeah, they really are.
You know, I think a sign of aging, well, I know several of the signs of aging. One of them is when, you're talking with somebody and you say, no, let's see, what's that? The first time you say, that was 20 years ago. And it's like, what? I'm still me. It can't be 20 years ago. I'm still who I was. You get a little older and that part's not so. But the other thing that really reminds you, when I went to the polls and I looked at all those names, I used to know all of the names. And now it's like, these are a bunch of kids running for things. But I thought it was so great because there for a while, we had a little spurt in town where you didn't see a lot of young people getting involved in volunteer, whether it was government or other things. So I thought, well, that's really good that we have new faces coming along. And
we do. We have a new member on the Board of Selectmen who has not served before. So we're excited to welcome Elaine Lang.
Elaine Lang.
Yeah.
That's hard to say. That's like Lois Lang, like super. Oh no, she was not Supergirl. She was the friend of Supergirl.
She was the reporter, I think, right? Lois Lang. Right.
Yeah. So this is Elaine
Lang, yeah.
And what, like you're equally divided now, right?
Well, we have 3 women, 3 men, 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans. So I think it's a really balanced board. I think it's going to be a great group of people. I've worked with 4 of them.
Yeah.
5 including me, and Elaine's new, and I think she'll be a great addition.
So the definition, the division, men and women, we're sure about those identities.
We are.
Yeah, well, in today's society, you have to talk more in continuum, I think, really.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I don't know. I can't speak to that. But I think
you did, though.
But I think it's a great board. I think it's going to be a very strong board. The board is committed to working together. We're going to have some issues ahead as we go forward. We're dealing with the state budget, seeing what's coming down the road.
Some challenges.
There are some challenges there.
A challenge I remember, it's been a number of months that we talked about it, that may have changed. Thought it had to do with, yes, it did, sewers.
You're right.
And what goes in them and what you have to check to see if it's there. And we were going to have to add like 2 people or something, but then that got modified?
They did. They listened. That's one of the things why it's so important to be an advocate at the Capitol. And a lot of municipalities, a lot of laws are passed with great intentions. But sometimes the consequences of them, haven't been fully thought out. And so they did.
I was at a luncheon today, and excuse me, but in the financial area, and we were talking about what different things have been done and haven't been done. And that's so true about so many things. Our life and tasks and responsibilities have gotten so complicated that to execute them efficiently, they get divided up into pieces. But then you solve a piece, which that's great for that piece. Unfortunately, it affects some other piece that wasn't your job to look at. So somebody drew their attention to the fact that
a lot of municipal advocacy, a lot of our advocacy groups, CCM, COST, helped us.
What is CCM? What's COST?
Connecticut Council of Municipalities, and Connecticut.
Now, are you involved in that?
Yeah.
Was that the one Mary was queen of for 70 years?
Yes, yeah? It's an advocacy group for municipalities.
And how many are involved in that? Is that regional or?
No, it's statewide.
Statewide, okay.
And COST, which is Council of Small Towns. So they're a great advocacy group. I was just down there today at the Capitol. They were giving us a legislative update. We had the governor and Comptroller Lembo was there giving us updates.
Well, it was very big of you to go because I did read on, what is it, that thing that gets posted about Simsbury. We're the only town, not down on the shore, that made one of the snobbiest town lists in Connecticut. We were number 10, so we're only number 10 out of the top 10, but there was nothing else that was on the shore. Then, before that, there was the 10 most boring towns in Connecticut, and West Simsbury was number 1. So I sent that to my daughter and her best friend and maid of honor, both of whom grew up here. So I don't know. How do you feel about
You
being
know what?
boring and snobby?
Well, first of all, I don't think we're snobby. I think this
Well, I don't
community.
live in West. Oh, snobby. No, I do live in Simsbury. But not
No,
West
people in
Simsbury.
Simsbury are so kind, so generous. I mean, you just look at how many people are serving on boards and commissions, how many volunteer. Flower Bridge, Jerry, right? That's all volunteers, the beautification committee, their coaches, the mentors, the scouts, leaders. These are not snobs. These are wonderful, wonderful human
Well,
beings.
maybe not to one another.
Of course not. And not to anyone. They are really a very...
I don't know. I've had friends who would visit Simsbury, and then they would say, nobody ever smiles and says hi at you when you're walking along.
Jerry, that is not true, and you know it.
I am telling you what friends said to me. I immediately came to our defense.
Thank you.
And
I'm
I
glad
said,
you did.
You little crazy snot. That's just not so.
Well, maybe you could have taken a slightly different approach, but the point
I
is...
said, who do you think you are?
Okay, so that
Okay,
probably
okay.
didn't go well. But,
Okay.
I had the good fortune of attending the interfaith service right before the holiday. And that's when the whole community came together, all the churches, 10 churches
No, I
and their
was thinking,
congregations.
we should wish Happy Hanukkah,
Yeah.
which is, I think on the 3rd day?
Yes.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And I'm forgetting one.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa, that's one, and I like the sound of the name, I couldn't remember it. And I thought, boy, if we keep tallying these up, just to wish somebody a happy something, it's going to take half a day.
Yeah, but you know what? It's nice
so
to be
this
able
is
to...
interfaith.
Yes.
Interfaith. So
was
how many
just-
faiths were there?
There
and
were
what
10
are they? Name them. Name them in 30 seconds.
I didn't bring my list, but it was all the churches in town and the synagogues. And you know what it was about, Jerry?
And mosques.
Yeah, they were invited. I don't think we have a mosque in Simsbury, but everybody of faith was invited from
Yeah,
the
and the
community.
longtime rabbi is finally saying, I've had enough of this
He's retiring.
snobby town.
No.
It's so boring. I'm cutting out.
No, we are
No,
going to miss
no.
him, and we're getting a new pastor over at First Church too. So we're excited to welcome him. A couple of changeover and a couple of
A
retirements.
hymn at First Church? I thought the big thing was hers now at
I think that
established old religions.
Well, I haven't had a chance to meet the new pastor, but I'm excited.
But
I've
you know
heard
it's
great
a
things.
him.
Yes, I do. His name is George Harris, and looking forward to.
Georgie. I have to interrupt something again. I'll tell you a story then too. But the president of SCTV, Althea Graney, who is gracious enough to do the camera, probably only because you're so important and it's a
No.
prestigious show to
No.
produce. But she is like waving it crazy at me because look, I have a lavalier light because I like a lavalier microphone because I talk a little louder than you or your
Okay.
guests usually do, so we have to separate us audio. But anyhow, so I'm crumbing it up by doing this, and I'll get scolded. But she has some very exciting news.
Oh, what's the news?
SCTV got a $35,000 grant, which Karen Hanville, the director there, managing director, did a lot of work on. But the challenge now is to realize it. We need to raise everybody out there to support this great, fantastic volunteer effort. We need to raise in the community another $35,000 to get that grant. So I mean, you can start ringing the phone right away. Phyllis will probably answer, and anything over 1,000 is welcome. Or you can only do 500. That's good too. So.
But you make a great point, Jerry, and it goes back to our community. SCTV is all volunteers. You're
That's
doing
right.
this without pay, and it's just a phenomenal organization, and it provides such an important role for our community.
And now I have to tell you, a guy stopped me in the liquor store.
Oh,
I was
dear.
just visiting to drop a pamphlet or something.
I don't like
And-
where this is going, but okay.
No. So he came up to me and he said, "Oh, Jerry." Oh, no, it's the grocery store. Of
Oh.
course it was, yeah. Local, too. So he came up to me and said, "Jerry, I just want to say I never miss the state of the town."
Aw.
He said, "I think it is so entertaining and so informative, and the people seems so real and spontaneous, which I said, I know that's because like I really aggravate them, so they just like step out of their roles, and I kind of view that as my role. Now, I happened to mention to my granddaughter that I had mentioned her on one of the shows. Well, because we're streaming video and you can get it, and I was on my computer, and I said, well, I can show it to you if I want. So I went there, and she said, if you were my granddaughter and watching me in a show, what would you say to me if you were very candid 8-year-old?
And?
Oh, I know, I'm asking you, be honest. Put yourself in that role, what would you say?
If I were your 8-year-old granddaughter?
Yeah, you'd say grandpa.
I would say grandpa.
Then,
I would say probably grandpa.
oh, just that.
That's probably what I would say.
Well, she started out where she says, Grandpa, why do you keep interrupting everybody? And I said, well, that's my job, to keep them real. But I've done too much of that already, so I'm just going to be silent for a minute, because we're going to have a guest today.
We
And I
are.
don't want to eat up all the time. So what would you like to talk about before your guest?
Before he gets here?
Before your guest, yes.
Well, I guess I would like to congratulate everyone who ran for office, whether they won or lost, because sometimes people think of, what you see on television as politics as something done by other people, right? And sometimes it's not so nice. But at the local level, it's all about just working together and trying to leave things a little better than you found it.
This time around,
Absolutely.
not always.
No, well, I will say this time around, people were very respectful. I think everybody, there wasn't one person I can think of who got elected that isn't interested in promoting the common good. And what
I
a
know
wonderful.
A real ego trip person, but I won't mention its name.
Thank you. Because I don't know that person. I'd
Oh,
like
sure
to leave
you
it
do,
that
sure.
way.
I'll write the name down later.
No, truly. I mean, it's a great celebration of democracy. It's small town New England democracy. And it's, people think of volunteer service as things you do outside of government, but you can volunteer within government. And it's, very fulfilling, and it's really exciting to start a new year with that. And I'm very much looking forward to it. And especially around this time of the holiday, it's important to just sort of take a minute and give thanks that so many people are willing to step up. And
I came from a luncheon today, and the question was, and I said, there's a basic question we should all ask ourselves. And I don't think it's an easy answer, certainly not just totally this or totally that, to be easy. Am I my brother's keeper? Yeah, I'm not asking you to answer that. I'm asking everybody, especially this time of year, to give that thought. And when you think about it, if you went totally, yes, I am, how much are you going to give to keep your brother? And if you're totally not, what happens to all those people who can't keep themselves? After a while, numbers win if so many don't have. So my little philosophical thing. And shall we now go to your guest? Or?
Let's
Okay,
do that.
Let's do that. Come on, Tom. And would you formally introduce him? Tom,
Sure.
scoot over. You get very, very friendly with
Will do.
Lisa, so we all fit in there.
We have here Tom Cooke, who has been just a tremendous support throughout since I've taken over as first selectman. He's been right there the whole time. He's tremendous leadership, a tremendous manager, and tremendous administrator. So,
Tremendous, tremendous,
yeah,
tremendous,
and
tremendous.
and it's true. Yes.
Oh, my word.
The bar's been set pretty high.
I guess so. So, Tom, we hooked you how many years ago?
I started in 2010, in October of 2010, so it's my 5th year.
Okay. And were you that tremendous when you came here, or have you honed your skills
It's
since you've
been
been here?
it has been a learning experience. Trust me. It's
I do.
this is unique among towns, and goes to many of the points that Lisa was making. One of the things that I can tell you is that we've got 21 committees, for example, in the charter of the town of Simsbury, including both elected and appointed boards. And that doesn't even begin to capture the additional appointed boards that we use at times to involve people in the administration of the town.
And what's your interaction with all those boards?
Well, it varies depending on the board. I'm very close to the Board of Selectmen. That's one of my primary jobs, is to support them in their deliberations.
So statistically, if you were to touch base with each of those boards at least once a week, you'd have to do 3 a day, right?
It would be
Yeah.
at least that, yes.
We just did the liaison assignments for members of the Board of Selectmen, and each of my members of the Board of Selectmen has 9 to 10 committees that they're assigned to,
And
so.
do they get to choose, or do you put names in a hat? Or does Lisa say, oh,
you know,
God,
by-
I can't stand this one, let's stick them with...
Well, by charter, it's the first selectman's choice, so it's not up to debate or, but what I did try to
Don't
do.
cross her. You other 20 people out there, do not cross her.
What I tried to do, and I think it was received as I intended, was to place everyone on their strengths. You know, I'm fortunate to be in a position where I really know my members of the Board of Selectmen and what they like to do, what interests them, and I tried to place them there, and I think I did a good job, and they seemed happy with the assignments. So I'm excited to have them work with it. It's an important job, because that's how the Board of Selectmen keeps in touch with all the committees that are going around. No one person can do it by themselves, because we do
Well,
have.
of course not. And the communication, that's the one I question.
Yeah.
Back when I was directing the Main Street Partnership, I worked ad hoc with a lot of the committees, and I was very, very impressed with the sincere commitment to do the best job of their area of responsibility. What I did see, however, and I don't know how you do manage it. I mean, because if you're one member of one committee and it so interacts with 6 others, to try to be constantly aware of what those other 6 are dealing with is not possible. I mean, this is not a paid job. You know, this is volunteer stuff. So 21, that takes a lot of volunteers, and 21, is that the right number? Should there be more?
Well,
Should
those
there
are
be
just
fewer?
those are just the charter ones. There's more like 45 committees, because some are
Okay,
non-charter
well, then I have
committees.
the answer to that. That's too many.
But it does, I mean, you're right, it's a challenge to staff, because staff does have to help manage them. And, you know, I mean, on the one hand, it really reflects how committed our citizens are, because they want to participate in local government,
Yeah,
and that's awesome.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it is a challenge, so it's finding that right balance.
Well, because I do remember at that time, Main Street Partnership, part of the effort, along with the Chamber, was, and along with the First Selectman and the Selectmen, was how do you speed up the time when somebody coming out wanting to do something that could economically benefit the town, to get them through all of these separate processes that, you know, exist. And now I read, must have been in one of the town news things. Once again, there's discussion on whether planning and zoning should be combined.
Well, that's
How does a discussion like that initiate? Who says that, and how does it get formally discussed? It would mean a charter change.
It does, and that's how it was brought up. That's one of the things that was brought
How
up.
was it brought up? Who
You know, I
brought it
don't
up?
know who brought that up.
Well, and in fact, if you go back and you look at the process, the Board of Selectmen's Personnel Subcommittee was tasked with the challenge of determining whether or not a charter revision was appropriate.
And who's the personnel subcommittee? Who's on that?
That's chaired by Chris Kelly, and
Okay.
and it has
A selectman.
Right, a selectman. It's all selectmen. The other 2 are
Oh.
Sean Askham and Cheryl Cook.
Oh, okay.
And so what they did was they held a number of public hearings, and they reached out to town staff, they reached out to boards and commissions, and essentially invited them to provide information about what they thought might be reconsidered under the charter.
Nobody invited me.
Actually, the whole public was invited, so you were invited.
We
I
had,
didn't-
we
I
had
didn't
news and
get it.
announcements out there on the town's email listserv, so we got to get you signed
I'm
up for
not
that.
on the email list.
Well, we
I'm
gotta
on that
fix that.
telephone list when we're going to be hit with, you know, whatever. And I mean, they
That- which
call
is
me-
good.
They call me, 4 times on the same thing to say, going to close the street for 5 minutes. And somebody else calls me, going to close the street for 5 minutes.
But you should sign up for news and announcements. If
Well,
you
how,
go-
how do people sign
Uh,
up
well,
for news
I'm
and
glad you
announcements?
asked,
Very good
Jared.
question.
Invitation.
Well, one of the things is you just go on the town website, and there's a button at the bottom of the page that says subscribe, and you hit that, and you can pick what you want to get information on. You want to sign up for news and announcements, because that's how we get out information
What
about
else
what's
could I
happening.
sign up
You
for?
could sign up for agendas for zoning, for planning, for community for care,
You could
for the
get
Board
on
of
Culture,
Selectmen.
Parks, and Recreation's mailing list. You have
The
all
library.
kinds of things.
Okay, so I understand the town site is going to go under extreme changes.
Not extreme, but it's going to be updated, absolutely, and really.
Oh, what I read made it sound like, it was quite candid. It said people complain that once you get to the site, it's difficult to get to the content you want in the site, and that was all going to be reorganized.
It is being reorganized. I wouldn't say that it was a massive discontent with the website because we did a town survey. And
I didn't say discontent.
Okay. I would say the town survey, for the most part, people do like the website, but there are absolutely opportunities to improve it, and we're embarking on that with Main Street, with the task force finished their work there, but they made some recommendations, and Rick Bazzano and Sean
Rick's
Kimball
good.
are working on
very,
that.
very helpful and cooperative, like when the different volunteer organizations you're involved in go to look for guidance or what could be included. He's very, very cooperative,
good.
great suggestions. But if you would stop talking some so your guest could.
Yes, yes, I will.
Okay, so Tom, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, I think I just want to echo what Lisa said about the swearing in.
No, that's already been said then.
There
you don't
you
get
go.
to echo. It takes too much time.
He can
Talk about something.
He can talk just a little bit.
Some of the things that are happening that are exciting here is that as a result of some of the economic development work done during the year, this office is becoming a lot more involved in economic development on a day-to-day basis. The first selectman has been to, I don't know, probably over a dozen businesses just to meet with the owners, meet with the folks who run the businesses, try to figure out what the town can do to help, whether or not there are grant programs we can
Maybe
help them
GE
find.
would like to relocate.
We would
here.
love that,
We-
sure.
We're ready for them anytime.
Hey, in the Hartford Steam Building. That would be a great place for them. Their building down there in Plainville is so ugly, and this is such a nice building.
That's
That's a
there you
good
go.
suggestion.
Slip in there.
All
Slip
right,
in there
we'll
right
see what we
now.
can
I
do.
hear there might be a little give there. They might think about not deserting the state. And wow, what a workforce they'd have if they came here.
Well, that's
Oof.
very true. I mean, one of the real
Absolutely.
benefits of doing business here is the phenomenal level of education that our residents have, our access
In the
to.
top 5 in the state.
There you go.
That's correct. Thank you for that.
Somebody's been reading the news. And we have, of course, the phenomenal school system. It's a stunning place to live. So
West Simsbury, most boring.
No.
Number 1, most boring in
No.
Connecticut. That's what it was
No.
voted.
actually, what's interesting is we were named one of the top 10 places to live in the
I
country
know, and
most
we were
recently,
also,
too.
number 10, we were talking earlier, the snobbiest.
No.
No.
Number 10.
No.
You know what was interesting about that was we.
Where do you live, Tom?
I live just over the mountain, so I'm in West Hartford.
Talk about snobby. Woo! I don't know how they didn't get number 1. Please.
Well, in part because we've been very active in our branding, in our marketing, and all of a sudden all these different periodicals know that we're here, and that's been a big
You
help.
mean Simsbury?
Yeah.
Simsbury,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, the bridge, best bridge visit in New
It
England in
is.
the Yankee magazine.
And
so-
as you read through these things, they all mention the Flower Bridge, the Performing Arts Center, our school system, the trail system. We are doing a good job of getting our amenities out there.
Yeah, there used to be more variety. There was that guy who had the Swingers Club.
No.
They hosted it over in Windsor, I guess, but, he was here, a resident, innovative.
That's not a selling
fulfilling
point,
a need.
no.
You see how much better things are getting.
But I think Tom's point is right. The things that you love about Simsbury are the things that attract new businesses. So when you invest in value, it's not just amenities, it's what attracts new businesses that are looking for places where their workers can
And I'm
live
sure
and work.
Lisa's told you in prior town presentations that we're part of what's called the Nutmeg Network now, which is a fiber optic network that connects.
She did not.
I did not tell you
There you
this,
go.
no. This is
Hiding
breaking
something.
news, breaking news.
But-
Nutmeg Network.
Now, essentially, what this is it is a statewide fiber optic network which allows
Free Wi-Fi for everyone in Simsbury?
No.
not quite, but very high speed fiber optic cable is available to lots and lots of people, and starting with towns. It may be one of the great competitive advantages that Connecticut has
For businesses.
for
Down
eventually
the
I
for
want it
line,
for
business.
the
for
whole
state.
town. Tom, you have gone on and on and on, and we're getting limited on time. So you need to talk really quickly about things we haven't hit on yet that you would like people to understand.
Well,
Go.
one thing you should know
That's
about
so-
him. Oh, I think you should talk about one of his hobbies.
What's one of your hobbies? Oh, great.
There you go. I am a musician, first and foremost.
For your job.
Indeed. I founded a group called Voce with a new Simsbury resident, a young man named Mark Singleton, who's probably one of the finest choral conductors alive. And we're doing.
Modest praise.
He's really quite
Really
outstanding.
something, okay.
And this group has actually an album that's selling internationally. It's probably one of the few organizations in Hartford that can claim that.
You know what would be so cool? If a percentage of those profits went to SCTV for that matching grant.
Well, maybe we can work out a marketing deal with you. I don't know.
Well, not me, the president right there.
There we
Who
go.
is taping us today.
Consider it done.
She's a
Yeah.
lot easier to deal with than I am.
Well,
so.
we have recorded the works of a composer named Morton Lordson, who's a national.
Morton what?
He's a National Medal of Arts winner, one of the few.
What's his last name?
Lordson.
Loredson.
Exactly. Good Norwegian name.
Ah.
And
Are you Norwegian?
no, Cook's
No, you
a
don't look
good old
Norwegian.
English name. But,
Yeah, okay.
So it's been a fun ride, and of course it's the holiday season, so we're doing a
So
lot
we're
of
not going to
singing.
lose you, like the town keeps ripping away our great people, and do you get like offers? Well, like Hiram, for God's sakes. I don't know what they must have paid him to pull him away from here.
Have you met our new town planner?
I have not, but
He's
he's going to be on the
absolutely
program.
sensational.
Maybe Hiram thought it was too boring and snobby.
Yeah,
here.
no. No. We wish him very well. I think he'll
course.
be very happy in the
I
event,
really
and we're
liked him. I thought
and we're
he was
very
great. I thought he
excited.
was fantastic. And Tom,
Pleasure.
5 years, I'm thinking 15, 25, 30. It's a nice place to make a career that lasts forever, and it still allows you enough time to do internationally recognized performances. So that's
Indeed.
good. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Ooh,
Jer.
what a grip.
Yeah.
She doesn't look very big, but look what she did. Oh, my God. Broke my little finger.
Oh, stop.
What you did? It was great. See you next month on State of the Town.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.